Alright, hey y'all. It is almost 6 o'clock on Wednesday. First off, I did not get attacked last night, so we're good. But I had several patients today that were they were on point today, and it was rather an amusing day. But one in particular, she has been coming to me since 2022, and she is a patient, yes, but I also consider her a friend. She is, just an absolute delight of a person. Very upbeat, very insightful, very charismatic. But she is the one that kind of, she's the one that told me that she wanted to do a podcast with me. And I'm like, I don't have anything to talk about. Why would anybody care what I have to say? I mean, I'm nobody, But she insisted. She said, God, things would be so good, and so, I mean, that had been playing in the back of my head for probably a year. or a long time anyway. And so then when I started doing these, that was just, it was there, everybody's, I don't know if anybody's going to want to watch this or care. And honestly, there have been so many views and comments and nothing negative. And it's been great. It's been fun. And I, it makes you feel good. It makes you feel like people actually care what you say, And I thank you for that. So, anyway, so she was in today, she was saying again, she said, I love watching your stuff. She said, your podcasts are great. And I'm like, well, they're not exactly podcasts. They're just kind of ramblings of, a neurodivergent. And she says, she said, you know what? Get a theme going. She said, I was showing her pictures of the kids at their wedding, and she's like, oh my God, she said, they are beautiful, beautiful kids, beautiful families. She said, you've got to share this beauty with everybody. And, she's right. I mean, what beautiful is going on in the world right now? Not much. But yet there is. It's just in the smaller things. It's in the more intimate, more private things, like a wedding or a sunset, a sunrise, the leaves on a certain tree, things like that can really just give you pause, Another thing we were talking about is how she said, when she comes in, she usually comes in during our walk-in hour, and it is always packed in there, And today she came in, and there was nobody. I think I had, actually, she was the only one that came in during walk-in hour today. That was quite odd. But we had the time to sit and share for a few minutes, I was able to share the wedding photos with her. She was able to share with me her ideas for my podcast, which honestly, I mean, I loved her ideas. They were great. But she said there is no coincidence. Things like that don't happen just, out of luck. She said, anything that happens to you is done by God. And I agree 110%. 110%. Like my patients. I will be having a really rough day, and suddenly I'll have one of my favorite patients in. And I say one of because I have several of my patients are my favorites, and today just happened to be full of them. So it was a great day. It was nuts, but it was great. But we're talking about timing and how things happen. It was just really cool. But she said I should try to share more of those good things that happen. I don't know. Like she said, talk to my son maybe, and have him gather the funny things that kids said, or cute moments or things like that, and just send me this stuff. Let me know what's going on, what's so happy, and what's good about his week, and share it. Or better yet, have him come on and share it with us. She thinks the podcast should be called storybooks or storybook. And I like that idea. I do, because everybody has a story. Everybody. And everybody's story is unique. My story is different than my brother's story, than my mom's story, than my daughter's story. It's all different. Even if we grew up in the same freaking house, it's all different. And I think it would be kind of cool, to share people's stories and share the good things in life. Like she said, there is not a lot of good going on in the world. You've got the wars, you've got the bombings, you've got the this, the that, the other thing. You got the politics, you've got all kinds of stuff that is just bringing everybody down. We need something to bring us up. Something to make us smile, something to make us laugh, something to make us look forward to the next day. For me, it's my patients. I love my patients. I had a couple in there today. Those two, they pick at each other like crazy. And if I remember correctly, I don't remember what he did for a job, but if I remember correctly, she was a psychotherapist or some sort of mental health provider. And I tell you what, for a mental health provider, she is a kick. She really is. But we were talking about breast cancer. She had breast cancer, and she was she was telling me about her story and how she'd had a mastectomy and she chose not to do the reconstruction. And we're talking very openly about this stuff, and her husband is sitting right there, and he's piping in too, and some comments that were like, what? But it was fun, it was interesting, the conversations that you have. You can be very candid with your patients, and they love it. Usually they start it. They started it, but it's just fascinating, some of the stories that you get, and the people that you get to know, and you get to, when they came in, I was like, oh my gosh, how are you guys doing? And I know their lifestyle, I know their likes, their dislikes, and I don't know, I'm rambling. Here I go again, ramblings with a neurodivergent. But anyway, it was just a good day all the way around. And Sherry, if you're listening, thank you for the ideas, and I think I am going to go with it. I am going to try it. So we're going to do it. So talk to you later. Love you. Bye.